on the beach. Sie in France. Stay mainly in your bonds. Anyways, hey, good morning, everybody. Let me remind you that trading Forex is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please always stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, and never risk money you cannot afford to lose. So happy Monday, everybody. Here we are, gathering as a community, putting Forex first, making Forex better. Yeah, cool. Very excited. So it is the 23rd. It's 123, 2017, January 23rd. It's a Monday. Got to look at the charts. Got to set up the calendar. Take a look at the week. Do what we can. Mostly collaborate as a community and make each other stronger. My name is Wayne McDonell. I'm the Chief FX Market Strategist for TradersWay.com. First of all, thank you for meeting with me here at Forex.Today. And also, thank you for being a client. If you are not a client, please open up a demo account and test out our back office. Download our MT4, check out our spreads, check out our execution. Do these sessions 7:30 in the morning, Monday through Thursday here at Forex.Today, and every Friday I'm at fxstreet.com. You have to pay money there. What else? I'm Forex Speaker of the Year, and I've been doing live presentations for 13 years, and run the biggest Forex webinar on a regular basis. Last one had 1,300 people. So all of that's really good, but most important thing is you, and I'm here for you. I love you, man. So let's get going. Like I said, maybe we'll look at some the calendar, that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll do some fundies. The most, but let's start with the happy music, huh? Thank you, Forex.Today. So, well, it's amazing. I got this like $9,000 headset. The volume doesn't seem to work. It's full blast. Hey, but it's 7.1. Ryan wants to know the artist of the song. That's me. It's me singing. I don't know. I don't know. Ask Google. Google has a feature. I was driving down the road just the other day. My son's like, "Hey, who sings this song?" I'm like, "I don't know." So I grabbed my phone. Hey, Google. Right? What's the name of this song? And I said, "It's the blah 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 song by so and so." That's it. There you go. All right. So, okay. We're at a 50-50 juncture. This will either go up or this will either go down. Those are not amazing odds, but they are odds, right? Let me get my drawing tool. Hey, drawing tool. Okay, so the reason I say 50-50 is it's still technically trending up. Okay, but we need to be cognizant of this what's going on here. Here's the actual top. Okay, here's this week's top. We notice it's an M3, right? So if this was going to lower high or double top, aka be bearish, and head down to the 55, that would get us down to the M1, and that's what a bear would play on this, right? I don't have a problem being a bear on this, okay? But on the shorter time frames, there is some bullishness going on. What I was discussing, I didn't really like it, but I thought maybe it had to do a lot with enthusiasm over a Trump presidency. Of course, Friday, Mr. Trump became President Trump. So I thought maybe that could continue. So, how do you play it when it's so, you know, it's been going up. So do you buy it, or are you going to play the top and sell it, or do nothing? And and I discussed this probably last week, maybe even the week before. It's really an uncomfortable situation because you need technicals and fundamentals to line up, and neither were really there. So you have to do one or the other, or nothing, right? So what I decided to do this week on this pair, um, right, instead of because I didn't really have an opportunity to sell right at the top, because that really occurred Friday, but I decided to buy at the weekly central with this as a role reversal and riding the 21 up. Okay. Now, if she breaks below that, okay, I want this to happen because remember, we discussed this being a downtrend for a few more weeks. What I was saying recently was this upward move occurred a couple of weeks or 2 or 3 weeks too early, right? So I'm just sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. You got to do something, right? Papa's got to eat. Mama needs new shoes. So how do you play it? So this is what I did. I looked at everything to the left. Okay. I saw that used to be resistance. I thought possibly that could act as support. Okay. I'm looking at this area. It's maybe central axis support. And if so, I'm good. That gets us up to a double top, or at least, it's an upward move for the week, right? So regardless of what you see in price, do you understand strategy? Okay. Yeah. It may not be correct. I may not be making money, but that's besides the point, isn't it? Okay. The second line of defense is here, isn't it? So as a bull, am I okay with what's occurred down here? So I really have two choices, guys. If you were going to play this, let's say while you're sleeping, you could put a half your slot size. So this is a full standard. So let's say you put half here on a working order and the other half here, and then go to bed. And then share a common stop loss based on, let's say, a total of 100 pips based on that. So, if you were risking $1,000, how do you average that out? Okay, and you average that out over here. So this one would have a bigger stop. This one would have a smaller stop, but together would add up to the same 1,000 pips. Okay. Brendan says, so would you place your stop in here? Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to feel comfortable. Let's say it that way. I'm not going to feel very comfortable if price obviously look well, like let's say it's somewhere else or a different way. Somebody bought it here, right? Is it a coincidence that they bought it at the M2? Just a random occurrence. Somehow 85.70 was just so important. No, so somebody's playing the game, right? So there's a reasonable chance it does this, right? There's a reasonable chance M2 is the bottom of the week. Trace is psych. Well, 86 is psych. 85.70 ain't no psych. All right, so there is a chance, isn't there, guys, that it dropped to weekly M2 and then it rose. If I can gather more bulls, 25.75 are not psychs, Dre. Besides, I don't use 25.75. Yeah. Well, what I observe is 80-20. It has to do with stop loss placements. Yeah. 50 is a midpoint psych level. 0 is a psych level. Okay. Right. What you're seeing. Your 25.75. I say 80-20, but it's the same thing. But to me, it's more of when stop losses are triggered. They're not entries. They're stops being hit. Okay. So, anyways, I kind of still need to stay in the game here. The game was the buy zone is this zone here, right? And as long as we're above that, the weekly trade plan is bullish. The target is up here somewhere. It's not even on the page, it's up. Okay. So if we drop below that buy zone, I do not need to stay in. Okay. So right now I'm hoping the 5-8 cross challenges and breaches the 21. I think the real challenge today for this swing trade, because remember it's a swing trade, right, is that it hits the weekly and drops. Because remember, that's what they're thinking, right? Their play is more like this. That's what the bears are thinking. Are you guys practicing that? Even if you're a bull, are you practicing like the trade plan for the bears? If you were a bear, what were you doing? Drop, rally, drop it like it's hot, right? That's what a bear. Because it is a zero sum. So if you know what your strategy is, the next thing you really could talk about is what the other guy's strategy is going to be, most likely. Okay. So that's what a bear is thinking. Okay. So if I can survive that today, and let's say it heads up, it hits the weekly central, but it's also 55. What happens next? Double bottom here. Comes down, heads up, reaches 55, goes towards the 200, and we're off for the rest of the week to the upside. Now, at a bare minimum, once we're up here, I can jam my stop at BE, right? Well, okay. If it's down here, do I have to keep playing the game? Oh, well, I'm a bull. I can't change my bias. Well, you can take a loss. Remember, I think the greatest skill a successful professional trader has is taking losses. That's the most important skill. If someone has a 90% track record, I'm not interested in investing. Did you know that? You have a super high winning percentage? That tells me that the winning percentage is important to you. Not my money. My money is not important to you. Your stupid winning percentage. And you're going to risk my money to maintain your winning percentage. I'm not interested in your winning percentage. I'm interested in my money. Right? We have a conflict of interest here. That's right. So the best way to do it, right, Brandon, is never take a loss. Yeah. James says it could be discipline too. I've never seen it. I've never seen a high winning percentage successful trader. It just tells me there's no real risk management and that it's a prime directive. So here's what I typically see when you look at a high winning percentage trader's track record. Lots of little winners and several giant losers. So they're like 25, 25, 30, 30, 10, 10, 25, 25, 18, 18, 12, 12, 25, 25, 25, 250 negative. Wah, wah, wah. Or 19 open positions, all losers. Eventually, though, the market goes up. And even though they were down, let's say an average 19 of 100 pips on all 19, so they're down like 2,000 pips, 20,000 pips, 2 million pips. But suddenly, after a long, painful journey, the market goes back up and they take 12 pips each profit. And they're like, see, look, 19 trades in a row. Boom, 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 boom. They're like, yeah, well, they're 12 pips each. Yeah, well, that's hundreds of pips. What they don't tell you is their drawdown in open equity was thousands of pips. So the pain to gain ratio is horrible, right? You see what I mean? Oh, but I have 19 winners in a row. Okay, so anyways, you got it. So Trump is going to sign an executive order to renegotiate NAFTA today. Yay! Wonder what that would do to Kitty Cat. Big Al, I have no idea. All right. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, not a terribly amazing opportunity to trade, right? A bear is looking at that. And the reason someone might become a bear is they're looking at this like you know, a lower low sort of thing, so to speak. I would rather wait for the U.S. dollar to get strong. It's a little weak these days. Let me get rid of this part. Look at this trade plan here. Didn't quite do exactly what we said, but it produced what it was supposed to. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah. See, normally as a bull, I would want to see it above this zone here. So I have, the reason I made it this thick is because I'm looking at, we had this identified, right? But let's just say, here's the weekly M2, right? Let's put this up here, just let's do it this way. Stop it, come on. All right. So last week on USD CAD, so I prefer to be a bull on this right now, as you can see in here. So last week, using pivot point theory, I would have wanted up. Didn't quite get the price action patterns that I would prefer, okay? But starting on Monday of last week, bull would want either central pivot to weekly R2 or M2 to M4. So if you were gutsy and put it below here, you would have done just fine. So what's the trade plan this week? Do the same thing, right? The buy zone, if you're a bull, is here. 32.50 or 32 is essentially it, right? Gray says, when should you get good news? Well, when I answered that 3 or 4 months ago, I said the third week of January, maybe. So you don't know, okay? You just don't know. So you wait, right? That's the whole point, guys. Nobody knows. I don't know. You don't know. You can tell me your opinion. I can believe you. I could disagree with you. I can tell you my thoughts. You can agree or disagree. Okay, that's fine. But nobody knows. But you can have an opinion, which we call a trade plan. And you can spend a lot of time waiting. And if you wait long enough, if you're wrong, you don't make any money, but you don't lose any money. And that's okay, isn't it? So, Bono. Are you guys practicing your patience? Because think of that. Your worst month should be 0.0000%, right? Now, of course, that's not likely, but because you got to trade, and every time you trade, you take risk. The theory is if you take risk, you deserve reward, right? So in this one, you kind of wait. If you're a bear, however, right, and U.S. dollar has been weak. And what if oil kicks off at the pivot and heads up again? What if oil's back onto 55 and maybe for some reason higher than 55? And what you're going to want is sell around the weekly M3, and your target is way down here. Hello? You see? And you can play both, by the way. Oops, I want that. I guess I do it. All right, so you can do that. So here's what a patient disciplined trader says. A pure technician would say, well, I might put a small trade here and a small trade here, right? Or I'll sell one here, a small trade. And if it drops below, then I'll put another small one here. You got it? So let's say it comes down, boom, you buy. Or if it comes down farther here, boom, you buy. Or does this. Uh, Kicks off here for whatever reason. I don't know why. And then now you sell. And then now you sell again for some variation of that, right? So I look at this. What do I do here? Do I buy or sell? I wait. Hoo-ha! What do you stink? So I hand this chart to you and I say, draw the MACD. Yeah. But anyways, it's heading back toward the water line, right? Below the water line, but heading back up toward the water line. So anyways, resistance, support. So euro is stronger than the Swiss franc. Sometimes in situations like this, I actually see it as Switzerland buying euros. Stupid, right? Swiss national pig dogs. Look at the volatility here, huh? Look at that. We just wiped out the last half hour. 1 minute. Coolio, huh? Talk about a range, huh? Yesterday's high seems a lot like today's high. Yesterday's low seems a lot like yesterday's low or today's low. You see where it actually, you see this spot here? You know what that is? That's the 50% between yesterday's low, yesterday's high. But tight range, huh? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. What do you think? Is it last week we said this was a sell zone? Hey Tony. Yes, sir, Mikey. Hey Tony, when are we gonna sell this gold, huh? How about this sell zone, Mikey? Set it up there, huh? La 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 la. Yeah, we did do this on Thursday, maybe Friday at FX Street. I can't remember, to be honest with you. I mean, you might think it's a coincidence that this is the monthly R2. Okay, you might think it's a coincidence, but we have this as a sell. Uh, like 2 days ago, we had this as a sell. $1,218. Huh. Whale oil B. What do you stink? Richard says doesn't think it will go down. That's fine. Well, do you think it'll go up? What do you think, Richard? All right, so all I'm saying here is it's not likely to go up, nor am I a bull on gold. Doesn't mean I'm a bear, okay? But with interest rates going up, why would you want to hold gold? So the only reason I believe gold is over 1,000 is because of negative interest rates in various places around the world. And when negative interest rates go away, which could be, let's say, next year, let's say the ECB next year moves interest rates back to zero. It's plausible, right? The second that happens, even the beginning of getting back to zero, gold tanks. And hello 900. Well, 850, right? And then the real gold is actually, in my opinion, worth 650 bucks. But you didn't hear that from me. Ryan says OPEC discussed gold being worth more than 1,000. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So at that point, gold tanks by hundreds of dollars. Cool, huh? And does anyone want to know why? Ron says yes. Yeah, okay. It's because gold wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be the better investment. There would be better investments. And as Ryan says, and correctly states, it's because gold doesn't pay you an payment. It doesn't give you a coupon payment. It doesn't have a return. In fact, gold has costs associated with it, but right now the costs of holding a European bond are higher. So right now, a zero yield is a higher yield than a negative yield. Okay? So when a European bond pays, let's say, 0.05% or 0.005%, gold will tank. That's that. Yeah. Yeah, it's neat, huh? Yeah. And I have a friend who has several thousand pounds of gold for sale. I wonder why. Why now? Uh huh. Yep. 1,000 pounds. This guy's got more than a ton of gold. What? So, anyways, that's a lot of gold. So, at some point, whether it's today or tomorrow or next week or whatever, in my opinion, this is coming down at some point. Now, if you fast forward in time, it could be a year, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. So not very soon. there will be a point where you will want to diversify and buy gold. Not at this price, and not in these macro conditions. There's always a better opportunity at the moment, right? There's always an opportunity to be bullish on one thing, bearish on something else, even if they seem related. Like somebody asked about a Venezuelan bond. Would you buy a bond from Venezuela? Pays 12%, let's say. I don't even know what the yield was, but let's say it pays 12%. Why not? Too risky. Okay. What if they gave you a discount, right? So it increases your YTM. Anybody know their YTM? Okay. Yield to maturity. So for example, what's your yield if a bond pays 10% per year? So let's say 1 year. What's the yield? So face value is $1,000. It pays 10%. Duration 1 year. What's the yield? 10%. Okay. Now, what if you paid $90? Sorry, $900. Okay. Okay, you got it? What if you paid $900? You get a coupon payments that add up to 10% per year. So twice a year you get 5%, right? And then at the end of the year, exactly 365 days later, you get $1,000 back. Well, really, right, it's 100 plus, right? 100, yeah. So your yield to maturity is 20. Would you do it now? Yeah, it depends, right? Well, what relative to what? And this is where becoming an investor, or in this case, a bond investor, gets interesting because, well, what are your other opportunity costs? What if you could get 12% from some other investment that has significantly less risk? You're like, well, 20% is good, but you could still default. You know what I mean? And is it in USD? Well, if it's not in USD, now you have some foreign exchange risk that you need to hedge. And that risk is risk, which means cost. And then the actual hedging will have costs and risks. And all of a sudden you're like, well, it's not so good. So now you either need a higher coupon payment or you're going to need to negotiate a better price. You're like, well, my calculations tell me I got this risk, and this risk. So, I might pay you $750 for a face value of 1,000 plus the 10%. You know what I mean? Now, my response was not really interested in the bond because it could just default. What do you have? What do you have in your hands if um, the bond issuer defaults? Yeah, yeah, you got a worthless piece of paper, right? What if you took that same amount of money and you bought beachfront property, a 100 unit apartment building on the beach in Caracas, and you bought it for 25 cents on the dollar? Yeah, well, at least you have that, right? Yeah, yeah, and that kind of stuff. Now, here's your risk, Dre. The government walks in one day and takes it from you. They're like, yeah, this is ours now. Thank you for the investment. So, oh, hey, man, it happens. Yeah. So, anyways, just I don't know how we got onto that. It's only money. There's always something, right? Relative to what? Is gold a good investment? No, but relative to negative interest rates in Europe. Okay. So think of this, guys. I mean, really, just put it into real terms, because I think if we have these conversations once in a while, you look at Forex less like a video game and less like the real, and more like the real world, right? So what if you were a billionaire and you had $1 billion locked in a bank account in Switzerland or Liechtenstein? Okay. There, by the way, Liechtenstein and Switzerland have lots of billionaires with money in the bank. Well, they get itchy and twitchy. And they're like, oh, I hate holding all this cash, my Liechtenstein account, and lose money because Liechtenstein's charging me negative interest. So you're like, well, this sucks. What are you going to do with it that is low risk? Well, maybe you just convert it into gold. Or even better, just put it in a safe, right? But that's what people are actually doing. And the interesting thing about it, guys, is that sort of train of thought is actually what moves the market. You don't hear about it on TV, right? You don't read about it in the newspaper. You don't hear about it in fundamentals. But when I say things like, yeah, yen's going to get strong in 4 weeks, and then the yen suddenly gets strong and there's no technical or fundamental reason for it, then what the heck is it, right? Well, first of all, I am part of the Illuminati, so that's cool. I like it. It's really cool. The dues are pretty steep, for for what you get. I mean, really, can't they come down on the dues a little bit? Okay, so we're just kind of putting this into context. This is still bullish, right? But this is a predicted top, right? So let's go back into here. Really, omnipotence should be cheaper, huh? I say, can I have a 1 month trial? F you. All right, there we go. Yeah, I should have asked Harvard for a trial. Oh, I don't know, Harvard. It seems pretty expensive. Could I have like a first semester for half price and I'll think about it? Yeah, could I have a demo? The first question, I was actually in a meeting when I was sort of got myself into the opportunity to go. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, well, we're doing a meeting. We're fielding questions from a small group on a. I'm like, okay, cool. And they're explaining that they don't have um, miners. They call it something else. And they kept talking about that. And then someone asked about, well, can I minor in this subject? And they're like, well, like, once again, we don't have minors at Harvard. We have, a major, and then we have this other thing, whatever they call it, I forget. So being a dimwit like me, I asked them, uh, excuse me, well, why don't you call, if they're the same thing as miners, why don't you just call them miners? They looked at me and they're like, it's Harvard. We can do whatever we want. I love it. I'm like, awesome. I'm in, man. Sign me up because I like the attitude. I love the dude. We're the best. F you. We're going to call it what we want. You don't like it, you can leave. I'm like, no, I'm in. I love it. Yeah, concentration. No, no, I forget what it was. Emphasis. No, I don't even remember. I don't know. Of course, I'm the same. Like I can call it a minor because I'll do whatever I want. So Harvard probably likes that. So I'm like, I'm going to call it a minor. Yeah. So all right. Um, so anyways, this is what I'm looking. I am predicting the future. And if I'm right, I trade it. If I'm wrong, I don't trade it. How do you know I'm wrong? It keeps going up. So wouldn't you think if I had no opinion and if I didn't look backwards at all, isn't this orange line a buy zone for a bull? Right? So if I was a bull, I would have to buy it. Otherwise, I'm just not a bull or I'm just clueless. Absolutely clueless. Right? Sometimes I miss doing live events. So, Jimmy, what do you do in a situation like this? Uh, well, I don't know. Well, Jimmy, what have we spent the last 2.5 hours talking about? Um, uh, buy at the 21? Yes, Jimmy. Yes. Yes, we spent the last 2.5 hours talking about buying at the 21 in an uptrend. Yeah. Yeah, that's the downside of having webinars, and I'm the only one with the mic, I guess, right? But it's fun doing live events because literally you're like, what have we spent the last 2 hours talking about? Swing both ways like a broken gate. Don't use stop losses. Just jump in and chase price. Like, no, Jimmy. No, that's exactly what I said you shouldn't do. Yeah. Anyways, so if you're a bull, like, oh my God, you didn't buy this, then just what's going through your brain, I really don't understand, right? But, so this could go up. I have no problem with that, right? As a bear, however, and remember, we still have negative interest rates in Europe. We still have negative interest rates in Japan, and so on and so forth. So this can and could and even may go up. Okay, but if I'm a bear now, I'm already predicting this being a top. In fact, we predicted it like 2 weeks ago that exactly 1218 would be a top. So here we are starting the week. Guess what? It's a top. Hallelujah. Okay. So I don't know. It might be a top. So what is my job now? Well, this could fail. This 21 could fail. Do 21s ever fail? Yeah, eventually. So I'm predicting at this point, even though there's nothing on the chart to say that it's going to fail, it might fail. Okay. I don't know when. So now we got to set up a trade plan. Double top or lower high. one of these is going to drop the price of gold. And if you're up here, you're way out, as they say in the quest for the Holy Grail. If you know how to use the holy hand grenade. Now Ryan's throwing in pivot points and all that kind of stuff. Even better, right? Even better. You've been living underground, eating from a can. You've been running away because you don't understand love, right? So one of right the one of these two might work, and you need to trade it if you're a bear, or let it happen and then catch the next one. Cool. Well, Ona, it'd be a double top of a double top. So it's already made a double top on a higher time frame. But that's what this orange line was when we were looking at this. That's what the orange line was. It's represented the top that we already established. So now if this is a double top, now we got, see how this one rolled over? This is an old man easing into a hot bath. Or you could call it a head and shoulders or whatever you want to call it. Shoulder, shoulder, shoulder. Okay. So we'll probably have something similar. Okay. And in fact, you see this big drop here, it'll probably get us up into here, and then we start monkeying around. So it's probably another touch of one, of 1220 kind of thing. So somebody said they posted their first trade plan ever. Who was that? And by the way, thank you for taking the time to post. If you, oh, that's weird. It didn't put the. Um, Hopefully, you're also spending the time leaving comments and reviewing other people's posts. Okay. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Stefan trades in mysterious ways. Ooh. All right. Very nice. Pleasant colors. USD yen fell on Friday. We continue to do so. Expect it to move up a little bit to the psych level of buck 14. It's funny. I just look over there and like, mine says a buck 14. I don't remember it being at a buck 14. Of course, it's not connected. I've been running away because I don't understand. Hang on a second. Yeah, so I know it's below 114. I still have Friday's prices over here for some reason. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Sleep all day, profit all night. Oh. There we go. Buck 1336. All right, cool. Down in here off the 21, using the psych level, using the 21. What is this? So 1 hour? No, 1 hour 21. Didn't even get that, huh? So you measured from here to here to here. Yeah. Yeah, you can measure from here to here. So just make sure we're all looking here. The fib is measured from this low to this high. You could also do it from the Monday open, okay? But it doesn't really matter because you're using the 21, you're using the psych. So all of that is pretty good. I get this. Okay. We haven't had it yet, right? So where are we now? This 1336 area is a weekly M2, isn't it? So, but on the longer term, it does feel down. Looks like you just so far haven't got your pullback yet. Okay, so I mean, it's like one of these things where it hasn't worked. What? Logged in? Won't let me like features busted, huh? Everything seems to be perfectly fine from the point of view of a bear. Perhaps you'll get your pull back later today/week. There you go, Stefan Snow, the bastard son of Ned Stark. No, 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 no. That's the other guy. No, 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 no. The other guy. Who, Gandalf? Oh, no, no, no. He's from a different one. No, 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 no. You're mixing it all up. You don't get it. You don't get it. You're mixing it all up. Wrong movie. Yeah, so there's everything here is fine, just hasn't happened. So you got to be careful because if it does happen, it might happen like because of a 4 hour double bottom. In this case, the farther it falls without a pullback means eventually when it pulls back, it might reverse. So, because think of it this way, you want it to fall, but what if it falls too far too fast? What'll happen is you get too many bears that are already in it because last week was this here was a big sell zone. Okay, big sell zone. So these guys are already in it. So if it didn't pull back, it's going to drop and maybe this head down to like 112, 111, whatever it is, and then they all take profit. So which means the pullback ends up being a reversal. So too far, too fast is a risk. You don't want it to be too bearish. You want the lower low, lower high, lower low, like you're predicting here. So if it just goes low, 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 now you're selling into support, and very often you're the only bear left. So just, yeah. Light up the days. So that's pretty cool. I don't know why I can't light. Oh, someone else liked it. Is it just me? It's maybe what browser am I using? It's like a Firefox. Huh? All right, whatever. Let's go back. Okay, Euro pig short, huh? So buying pound, selling euro. All right. Pound finished week quite high after the press conference. Yes. Okay. Euro at on the other hand was weak last week. ECB kept interest rates at low level. Yeah. For that reason, I am a short-term bull on pound. Okay. Okay. I like it. Nice fundamentals. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Um, these are monthlies, huh? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I'd be careful of labeling that 1, 2, 3. But anyways, so down up into here, monthly already topped out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Um, a down and an up and a down. So this is like a trade 2 weeks from now, then, right? Market direction, no real direction. 21.55 flat. Yeah. Technically bullish, but yeah, if you have like a scenario like this, it's not bullish at all. It is sideways. Yep. Okay, got that. Very nice. Nicely done. So instead of labeling this the same thing every time, Euro pound 23rd January 17th, put the time frame. So this is a 4 hour. This is the 1 hour. So that's what you want to do. Euro pound 1 hour. All right. So aqua pivot. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Little bottom, a little pullback. Okay. So like this doesn't make sense using weekly pivots. So if you this scenario, right? Um, so a bear is going to want to sell up in here. So if it starts bearish and continues bearish, it's going to do it faster. Okay. That means today or tomorrow we're in the green zone. And then we spend the rest of the week working our way back to the central. That's what that would tell me. So I don't even know. I'm not even looking at euro pound. I've been running away. Yeah, for some reason it needs to hit here faster if it's going to do that. So like you see here, it started high even though a bull would want to buy a dip where there was no dip, but you see how it hit the target early? Now it was supposed to come back. It didn't in this case, but still. So this was in the buy zone. That's fine. This just did nothing. So I don't know. It's one of these things where I'm not necessarily a bull on the pound, right? So I think you're going to get a lot of sideways stuff like this and just stuff that doesn't quite make sense because I think, I think there's a lot of neutrality on this pair. Okay. If anything, like, right, it either needs to fall very quickly or this support holds, this oscillator turns north, it ends up doing this week. There's still a glimmer of that going on, which means euro for some reason gets strong, or more likely pound gets weak. But I don't know. But if I'm neutral on both, or let's say moderately bullish on one or moderately bearish on the other, I'm going to think more like this, right? So like, yeah. So let me go back to that. My personal opinion, right? And this has nothing to do with technical analysis, but my personal opinion is we, that's our bottom, that's our top for the week, and it could do all kinds of nonsense in between. So, well, the part of this trade plan is that tomorrow the pound will become bullish, and I like that. Okay, that's a cusp of this fundamentally. This is Julie, right? Yeah. So Julie says tomorrow the courts are going to blah 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 Article 50. Whatever that is, nobody knows. I don't think anyone really cares, but it would be the catalyst. So let's say today does this, and then in tomorrow's news, and it just goes wham. That would still fulfill my early in the week guess, theory, hypotheses. Okay, and that so again, I think that's good. I mean, I think it's well done because it specifically says that. So seems very well thought out technically and fundamentally likely to hit pivot off hit zone on Tuesday, but then could head back to central pivot point late in the boom. So look, I take my time and stuff. You guys could do this in less than 1 minute. I mean, it's a real shame if you don't. Sam. Cool. Nice little labeling here. First entry, aggressive. Yeah. Second entry. You know, your second entry, I think you'll have it here. Your second entry I find more difficult, okay, because, all right, so you're aggressive and you play the shoulders on the first one. I get that. Right on. But a second one and you still haven't made a lower low, okay? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think I'd be that aggressive. Oh, that's funny. Interesting. Okay, target's fine. R1. So this is your weeklies and these are your dailies, I guess. Interesting little setup. All right, cool. USD's Aussie versus dollar reached almost 786, made a lower high. Okay. By the way, the 786 makes me nervous too. Or what you call 76. Okay. Made a lower high, weekly M3, bear sell zone, good. Fundamentally bear on Aussie, though expect relatively good CPI. Very nice. Love the reference of that. Potential sell setup is developed for pairs to take a shot. Okay, yep. Sell zone, we found in the fib zone. Yep. Stop loss tight above the high. Yep. Constructive criticism is welcome. Okay. So lower high, got it. So there's a measurement of this high to that high. Yeah, good. So that makes you bear. Good. A burr. And from that, a double top. Great. With that, a lower low. Return for a roll reversal in the fib zone. Drop into a cluster. So is this a 4 hour? Be great if you guys could label your time frames. It's like a 4 hour. Okay. I like your analysis and the inclusion of the upcoming news event. The high time frame chart looks fine, although I see your second sell zone a little too aggressive since no real lower low has been made. 15 in chart looks great. Cool. So again, you guys could be taking 1 or 2 minutes, reviewing someone else's trade plan, which took them let's say half an hour, you could spend 2 minutes looking at it, thinking about it. Would you do this? Would you do that? And then sharing a comment. What's the deal? My profile picture's gone, huh? Weird. Oh, look at the time. Holy smokes, I've babbled on and on and on. Okay. So I gotta go. We can continue this tomorrow. Will you please post a trade plan? And will you please leave comments for 2 or 3 people? Will you please do that? Yes, Leon, I could, and I will. Could you please leave one trade plan or more, and leave 2 or 3 comments for others? If you think about it, if we all did that, um, the value of this community would be immense. Okay, at least one trade plan every day, 2 or 3 comments every day, and I I think your trading career will skyrocket. So peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Thank you very much for being on my team. Thank you very much for being a client of TradersWay. Thank you very much for your participation on Forex.Today.